Bleach does not kill the mold in your bathroom. Instead of killing the mold, the bleach solution actually feeds it. That sounds impossible, but it is exactly what a government agency and a peer-reviewed laboratory study have both confirmed. And once you understand why, you will never reach for a bleach bottle again. Here is what actually happens when you spray bleach on grout. Sodium hypochlorite, the active ingredient in every bottle of household bleach, is a big molecule. It cannot travel far into a porous surface like grout, caulk, or unsealed tile. Water, on the other hand, moves easily. So when you spray a bleach solution on a moldy shower wall, the water soaks deep into the material while the bleach itself stays behind on the surface. The water carries moisture down into the substrate. It evaporates slowly over the following days. And it leaves behind the one thing a mold colony needs more than anything else to survive: a dark, damp, humid pocket just below the surface. You are not killing the infestation. You are watering it. This is not a fringe theory. It is documented in a 2001 publication from the Environmental Protection Agency called Mold Remediation in Schools and Commercial Buildings, a document that is still live on the EPA's own website today. Buried inside it is a line most homeowners have never seen. The agency specifically advises against the routine use of bleach as a biocide on porous surfaces. Not because bleach is weak, because of exactly the mechanism we just described. The EPA has known this for over 2 decades. Most people cleaning their bathroom this weekend have no idea. It's time to make your home cleaner and safer. Let's get started. If that were just one line in one government report, you might dismiss it. But a 2018 study in the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Hygiene put the theory to the test. Researchers took 6 common household substances and tested each one against colonies of Stachybotrys chartarum, the species most people call black mold. They didn't just measure how much mold died on day 1. They came back on day 30 to see what had grown back. Bleach didn't just fail to eliminate the colony. By day 30, the mold had regrown past its original size, exceeding the starting colony by 20%. The bleach had cleared the visible surface growth just long enough to look like a win. Then the trapped moisture underneath fed a resurgence that left the bathroom worse off than before anyone cleaned it. One substance in that same study didn't just outperform bleach, it nearly erased the problem outright. Borax, the same white mineral powder sitting in the laundry aisle of almost every grocery store in America, produced a 90% immediate kill rate. And at the 30-day mark, when the bleach-treated colonies had rebounded, the borax-treated surfaces showed essentially zero regrowth. The reason comes down to a difference in how the two substances behave at a molecular level. The active compound in borax is sodium tetraborate. Unlike bleach, it doesn't sit on the surface. It travels into the same porous grout and caulk that betrayed you with bleach. And as the water carries it deep into the material, something remarkable happens while everything dries. The sodium tetraborate crystallizes. It doesn't wash away, and it doesn't evaporate. It becomes a fixed physical presence lodged inside the pores of the substrate itself. And a fungal spore that lands on a surface laced with those crystals cannot germinate. Not for a few days, for weeks, often months. That single difference is the entire reason one method leaves you re-cleaning, while the other lets you forget your bathroom even has a mold problem. Now here is where the story gets even more interesting, because borax is not some new miracle chemical dreamed up in a lab. It has been mined, hauled, and used commercially since 1883, back when there was no indoor plumbing to worry about at all. That was the year 20 mule teams began pulling wagon loads of the raw mineral out of the punishing heat of Death Valley, dragging it 165 miles across open desert to the nearest railhead in Mojave, California. It sounds like folklore. By 1891, the mineral had made its way to consumer product, and the packaging from that year is essentially the same box you'll find today. Over a century of continuous use, and the branding barely changed because the product never needed to. You can walk into almost any grocery store right now and find a box for somewhere between $5 and $7. One box is enough to treat between 50 and 70 separate bathroom remediation jobs. Do the math on that. Compare that to the industry. The market for branded mold and mildew removal products in the United States is worth over $470 million a year. That's an enormous amount of money spent on spray bottles and foaming treatments marketed as the answer to the problem behind your shower curtain. But sodium tetraborate, the mineral doing the actual work, cannot be patented. Nobody owns it. It simply sits quietly in the laundry aisle, doing more than products costing 5 times as much, while almost nobody realizes it. So how do you actually use it? The method is almost embarrassingly simple. Dissolve 1 cup of borax in 2 cups of hot water, stirring until it fully dissolves, and stir until it thickens into a workable paste. Take that paste and apply it directly onto the grout lines and caulk seams, where mold tends to take hold, working it in with a stiff brush to make sure it reaches into the material, rather than just sitting on top. And then comes the part that trips people up. Don't rinse it away once you're done scrubbing. The borax needs to be left in place to crystallize inside the porous material as it dries. That crystallization is not a side effect. It is the entire mechanism that gives you months of protection. Whatever solution you have left over doesn't need to go to waste either. Dilute the remainder into a full gallon of water and use it as a prophylactic spray across the rest of the bathroom, on tile and on walls. Anywhere moisture tends to collect, so you're discouraged the mold. The real proof of a method like this isn't in a lab report, it's in actual homes. A retired contractor in Lancaster County had already spent $90 fighting mold, watching it fade and return again and again with bleach. After a single borax application, that colony simply didn't come back. Margaret Halloran in Portland kept her bathroom completely mold-free for 56 months, using roughly $15 of borax over that entire stretch, $15 total, compared to the problem that sends most homeowners back to the store every few weeks. But the most serious story belongs to Robert Klein of Chicago. He dealt with a chronic cough for 10 months of doctor's visits and tests, and mounting medical bills that eventually added up to several $1,000s. The cause turned out to be a hidden colony of black mold growing behind his toilet, fed continuously by a slow, almost invisible leak in the supply line. Once remediated, his symptoms resolved within 3 weeks, solved by a box of borax. That story matters because this isn't just about a stain, the health stakes are real. The Institute of Medicine published a report in 2004 establishing a clear link, linking indoor mold exposure and respiratory symptoms. The World Health Organization followed in 2009 with its own findings pointing to the same conclusion. This is not a cosmetic issue hiding behind your shower curtain, it's a real health issue. Millions of people are reaching for the wrong tool, assuming bleach is keeping them safe. Nobody told them that on porous surfaces, that same bleach can quietly make the problem worse, while the real solution sits 3 feet away on a grocery store shelf in a box that hasn't changed. The next time you notice a dark line creeping back into your grout, remember what's actually happening. The water is soaking in, the bleach is staying behind, and the mold is getting exactly what it needs: